Guys, hello guys. When I was a kid, I was a maniac. Now, I think most kids can attest to this. I think it's a thing that kids do because, well, our brains aren't developed, so we do dumb crap. And I did a lot of it. I would roughhouse with the neighbors, and they would be like 12 years old, and I'd be like this little 5-year-old kid. I was about 5, I wanna say, maybe 4 or 5, whatever, it doesn't matter. It was, forever ago. But I would be, like, playing tackle football, like, no pads, jumping off things that were twice as high as myself, running and sliding in mud, doing boy stuff, just really just going off the wall. But there are some particular moments that were very questionable. Like, I understand he's a little kid. He doesn't know what he's doing, but what on God's earth is he doing? Like, what what what's going on with this kid? I mean, what is his deal? Let me take these out. I don't know if this is affecting anything. Hopefully it isn't.
All right, I don't know if that's better. I can hear myself better too. Hopefully it doesn't screw anything up. But I was, for a lack of better words, a Tasmanian devil. I mean, I really just wreaked havoc. And I would just do stuff that was, yeah, very questionable. Very, very questionable. So every year when Christmas would come around, my mom, my dad, they put up the Christmas tree like any other family. I would ram the Christmas tree with my fake shopping cart that I had, like a toy shopping cart. I would just like get full speed and drive it into the tree. I'd also take the Christmas balls off the tree and I would break them in my hands. And my family, they bought real glass Christmas ornaments. Now they have plastic. There's a whole safety measure with that. But I would take the plastic glass balls, I would break them in my hands. I would throw them, I would smash them. I would literally take them off the tree bare hand and crush them in my hands. Like, why? I wasn't, like, I grew up in like I had a great upbringing for the most part. My mom and my dad, they worked very hard. They were there and they were attentive and caring. But I don't know. There was like a beast inside of me that would just unleash. And I would do things like this. Like, no, she would have to like put like a playpen up so that I wouldn't attack the Christmas tree. And I would do this all the time. I would take the balls off and crush them. But that's just for that. My dad, he had built this PVC pipe that went from the middle floor to the basement, and it was like I think it was like a beer crusher is what he called it. He drank then, and he would drop his empty beer cans down there, and so it would come right out into the recycle. And it was kind of a smart engineering type thing that he built. But, it was like a chute that would just go right out into the recycle bin. And I would drop my action figures down there, and he would tell me not to, but I would do it anyway. I thought it was funny. I would just be like, he'd be like, no, and he'd get mad at me for it. And the second he turned his back, I'm dropping action figures down there. And then I would ask him, even though he deliberately told me not to, I would ask him if he could go and get my toy after doing that. And he's like, well, we wouldn't be in this situation right now if you would just listen to me. But I thought it was funny. One time, one of my uncles came over and he had a wrist rocket. Now, if you don't know what a wrist rocket is, it's a slingshot. It goes around your wrist. It's a little bit better than like a slingshot per se. I mean, it's a slingshot, but it's got range. Like it goes really far. Most people shoot marbles with it, but I think he was just like messing. I think him and my dad were playing around with it. They weren't like shooting anything. They were just like showing the velocity or whatever. And I remember being like, can I hold it? I mean, without anything to shoot it with, it's not dangerous. So I had this wrist rocket I had this wrist rocket, and you know, I grabbed it just like you would, and I don't know where I got it from, but I had these stones. I had these stones, and I I don't even know where I acquired them, but I had them, and without their knowledge, you know, they're not paying attention. I just start shooting these things, and they think I'm just shooting blanks. You know, I'm just kind of just like, I'm just practicing whatever. I'm giggling, I'm laughing. You know, I got this evil laugh going on. I'm giggling, and I'm just shooting them out in the street. And I don't remember if there was anybody below or if there was any vehicles below, but it was kind of a busy street where I was from the floor. Like from the window that I was at, I was up probably, well, these were like row home type ordeals, but I must have been on the second floor, yeah. And I was shooting out back, but it was still kind of not a main road, but it was still like a busy road. Cars would park back there. There was a great big cemetery back there that was like maybe, I don't know, 50 feet from where I was. And people would walk around there, and they would drive their cars and park their cars. And I'm just like blindly shooting this wrist rocket. I'm shooting stones out a window. Imagine a 5-year-old kid standing up on a chair, just cocked back like this and shooting stones. I'm talking about growing up, well, not growing up, but when I was a little kid, I was talking about how much of a menace I was. I was clearly Dennis the Menace, like that was me. And I'm shooting these stones. And then it doesn't stop there, because when I would hang out with my friends, I would do rotten stuff too. Like, okay, randomly, I would hang out. There was these kids that hung out across the street. Now, I will say they were, from what I remember, they were maybe a year or two older than me. So they were kind of a bad influence. They would kind of feed into my wild side, and they would tell me to do things. So I distinctively remember that. They would tell me like, hey, jump off of this, or do this, or, you know, just give me different things to do, and I would do it. You know, I thought it was cool, because I was like, oh, the cool kids, you know, I want to be cool. So on top of already being a rascal and then wanting to be cool and prove myself, I just did whatever. And I feel so bad about it now, but it's been so long ago. And to my knowledge, I mean, I'm a 5-year-old kid. How strong can a 5-year-old be? But I'll admit that one day I was hanging out, and there was this girl, and she was riding, was it a girl? I don't remember. Anyway, I think it was, shit guys, I don't remember. I remember pushing somebody off a bike. That's what I remember, but I don't remember the detail of it. But it wasn't like down a hill or anything crazy, but the fact that they told me to do it and then I did it, you just don't do stuff like that, you know what I mean? Well, whatever. But anyway, fast forward, somewhere around this time, I remember distinctively my sister going to turn the light off, right? And remember, I'm 5 years old, guys. I'm 5. So it's been a long time since then. I did bad stuff. But she would use the hamper to reach the light switch, because it was, you know, high up. And the lights were right above the stairs, like on the 3rd floor. Now, they were carpeted stairs, but it doesn't make a difference. But you'd have to climb up onto the hamper to reach the lights, and we would play up there a lot of times. But this time one time she got up there to get the light switch, and for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I just thought it was funny, and I pushed the hamper, and she came tumbling down the steps. Yeah, I was an a-hole. I would never in a million years do something like that, but I didn't know no better. I was like 5 years old, you know? I don't know. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And then during summertime, I don't know why I would do this, but I would try to catch bees. What? Who does that? Who tries to catch bees with my bare hands? I would get so stung up. It was horrible. All over my hands, all over my arms. That's when I knew, like, my neighbor, she used to babysit us a lot. And I don't know if it's like, if it's a real thing, but at the time I was a kid. And in order to, like, stop a bee sting from stinging, you put peanut butter on it. So yeah, I kind of found that out. But some of the other things that I would do is I would run and jump and clear my whole stairs. I swear to God, I would do that. It'd be like a 10-stair jump that I would do. And I would always, like, for some reason, I had like an obsession with, like, falling down the stairs on purpose. Like rolling down them or sliding down them. I think a lot of kids did stuff like that, but I would grab the top part of the steps and I would slide down it backwards, or I would slide like forward like Superman, like down the steps, or on my bum, or like straight on my back. Like I would just do all these types of things, and then I would jump steps. Another time I literally like barrel rolled down the steps. But it was probably a good couple years there where I was just like the most unhinged 5-year-old. And I have nothing to blame. Well, there was kids in the neighborhoods that definitely, you know, they would feed into it, and they would tell me to do things. So I would definitely listen to what they wanted me to do, and I would do it. So they did contribute, but I'm vastly different now. And I do blame it on being a little kid, you know, because little kids do the craziest stuff. And I mean, it's not even just like reckless. Like one time, me and my cousin, we were playing. We were at my grandmother's house, and she had just like redone a part of her house, and she had all this insulation, just like piles of insulation that was outside, and we played in it. Like it was like we thought it was cool or something. Like we thought it was like fun to play with because it was soft or whatever, and we didn't know that it was like itchy and like fiberglass. But we didn't know all that stuff. I don't know what we thought, but like we were just like, oh, like let's play with it because it's here. So we were like jumping in it. We were like just probably doing flips in it, whatever else we could even think of, and hanging out in it. And like, it's just like, why? Like, what? It's just like, what are you doing? I know, right? What's funny is my dad told me that he ate some of it thinking it was cotton candy when he was a kid. That's pretty extreme. Like he ate some of it. Like what does that do to your insides? Like there's fiberglass in it. Like it's scratchy. It's insulation. Like I wonder what that tasted like. But I mean, yeah, I mean, pushing people off of bikes, like jumping out of, I think I jumped out of a window before too, but it wasn't high up. Oh, this one I distinctively remember. One time I'm in the kitchen, my mom's cooking, and for whatever reason, I don't know why, but she distinctively told me not to touch the stove. She said it was hot. And what did I do? I touched the stove. And I don't mean like I touched the stove. I mean like I put like a whole hand on the stove, and my hand like kind of got stuck to it for a minute, but then I broke free. But then I had all these blisters all over my hands, and I had to get rushed to the hospital. And I remember they had to scrub my hand and pop the blisters, and like it hurt so bad because they had to scrub it with this like brush to like clean it really well because of infection. And I remember that because of how painful it was. But surprisingly, like I don't have any scars because of it. But yeah, these are just some of the things that I used to do. Just wild stuff, jumping off of stuff, trying to like do flips off of stuff, and oh, one thing I would do is in the living room I would try to jump from one couch to the other, and they were like a good 10 feet apart, and I would just like get my feet and brace them and like put them on the arm of the sofa and try and like launch myself off the couch and see if I could make it to the other couch. So I used to do stuff like that. All right, that's what I wanted to talk about. I'm sure there's more stuff. I mean, but these are just kind of some of the things that kind of came to mind. My bad on the bike thing. I know I pushed somebody off a bike, but I don't remember if it was. I know there was a brother and sister that me and my sister used to hang out with, and I don't know if it was his sister or if it was the brother. I think it was the brother, because even at a very young age, although it was my sister and I looked at my sister differently, and I don't know why, I just knew to like never like treat, I just knew to always like treat women with respect. So I'm pretty sure it was this, I mean, I don't want to say his name, but I'm pretty sure it was this kid. I'm sure I could say his first name, but I'm not going to do that. No, it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. I was an a-hole. I was an a-hole, for sure. I kind of grew up in a rough neighborhood, honestly. From when I was born to the time of, I think we moved from the first house. I think I was probably 6 when we moved from that first house, but it was a pretty rough neighborhood. Now it's like night and day difference in terms of like being a very rough place. Like it's a very rough place now, but when I was really little, it was still kind of like normal. Like now it's one of those places where you don't want to be outside alone at night. So it's pretty bad. But like I was too young to remember this, but my dad would park his truck out. I remember it because I know from my mom and my dad, but I didn't see it happen. But like people, like one time this, I don't know who it was, but one time somebody climbed underneath my dad's car and was like trying to steal something. I don't know what they were doing, but I just remember them like underneath the car, like trying to do something. And he like came barreling out of the house to chase them off. But yeah, there's like shootings that happen over there, and people doing illegal things, and it kind of happens all the time. But when I was a kid, it was still kind of normal. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else that I remember from that house, because during that time there definitely was a lot of wild stuff that happened around me too. Not just with me, but like just stuff that was going on around me, like on my street. But I can't think of any right now. Like I know there are, but maybe I can refresh my memory. But yeah, I was wild. I was a wild kid, and there was some people around me that weren't good influences. But I will say, once I moved from there, I moved in to my grandmother's for a good 5 years, and I met some really good friends and good people and stuff like that. And I wasn't like a bad kid. I just did things, you know what I mean? Like, but I guess it's kind of expected, you know what I mean? Being 5 years old, and especially if you're hanging out with people that are older than you, and you know how that is. I think some people take advantage of that, and they realize that they can like mold you. So they're like, oh, this is easy work. Like, I'll just tell them to do stuff for our entertainment. And so I kind of think it was like one of those ordeals. Just one of the situations where I was hanging out with kids that were older than me, and they thought it was funny to tell me to do certain things, so I did them. As simple as that. All right, guys, I gotta go. I'm supposed to wrap this up. It's kind of an early night tonight. Supposed to go to the movies, so I don't really get a whole lot of time off. I've been working a lot, and but you know, like I said, since I'm going live every day, I wanted to go live tonight. Yeah, I'm serious about it. You see that I've been going live every day, every night, and here I am. All right, well, I'm gonna get back to it. I will see you guys next time. We'll talk about something else. I always like to cover different topics, not just to come on here aimlessly, tell stories, tell you guys about past incidents, debate things, whatever, you know what I mean?